Northern Ecuador had been struggling with a spike in violence, unlike anything it's experienced in recent history. Killings, car bombs blowing up next to police stations, citizens abducted, then the unprecedented. 3 employees of the country's biggest newspaper, El Comercio, were taken hostage in March 2018 by narco militias along the Colombian-Ecuador border. Paul Rivas, Javier Ortega, and Efrain Segarra had been up on the border covering the boom in violence and drug trafficking coming from Colombia. The country prayed and supported the 3. Vigils were held for their safe return. A campaign was started, Nos faltan 3, we're missing 3. And as the people protested, 2 more Ecuadorians were taken. A salesman called Oscar Villasis and his girlfriend, Kathy Velasco. The Ecuadorian government negotiated with the rebels for the hostages' liberation. After more than 2 weeks in captivity, the Ecuadorian government made the announcement.
Por último, señores periodistas, estamos de luto.
The world was saddened by the images of a president nearly crying over the deaths of 3 of his citizens. For many, it summed up the image of an innocent country touched by evil. In the home of Paul Rivas hangs unbearable sadness. The 45-year-old Rivas was an award-winning photographer for Ecuador's El Comercio. His mother, Guadalupe, shows us around. In the small museum, there is Paul's collection of 40 antique cameras.
Este era el dormitorio que se ha convertido ahora en el museo prácticamente. Es el museo ahora de las fotografías, son muchas tomas que él ha hecho en revistas.
Paul left a lifetime of photos behind. His daughter, Alejandra, struggles with her father's loss.
En realidad nunca me despedí de él y creo que eso es algo que a la final duele, ¿no? Que te preguntas por qué no tuve el tiempo, por qué no le di un abrazo bien fuerte o por qué no le di el último beso, aunque sean. Pero es verdad, nunca sabes cuándo va a ser el último día ni qué es lo que va a pasar después, pero creo que eso es algo que duele bastante.
No, no se puede, es privado.
Aquí tenemos todas las cajas, esta es la documentación de...
In the Comercio newsroom, you feel that same absence. Giovanni Tipanluisa is El Comercio's security editor and Javier Ortega's boss.
Era un chico muy dedicado, demasiado dedicado al periodismo. Era uno de esos periodistas que se respaldaba siempre en documentos.
Javier was one of El Comercio's top investigative journalists. It was his experience that had him repeatedly travel to the border, even as the situation broke down. His files are still in the newsroom, a ghostly reminder of a journalist's work. Javier's desk remains untouched, an empty seat for a missing journalist. Ecuadorian children had sent origami models in support of the 3 while they still held hope they were alive.
La esperanza era de que ellos vuelvan y hasta el último nosotros esperamos que ellos vuelvan con vida.
For Efrain's son, Cristian Segarra, coming to work isn't easy. He also works at the paper.
En realidad esta pérdida ha sido bastante difícil. Para mí regresar al diario ha sido tortuoso. Cada paso que doy acá me trae recuerdos de mi papá. Yo siempre esperaba en estos días que mi papá llegue por la espalda a saludarme.
Ellos dejaron un legado de unión, de trabajo, y ese legado tiene que seguir en la redacción.
The paper feels the best thing they can do for their colleagues is to keep doing the job of journalism. The newspaper did what it could and reported on the deaths of its own.
De una tragedia tan grande como estas, el periodismo tiene que seguir diciendo lo que está pasando.
Their memories will be a reminder of what became a new era of terror in Ecuador. For Ecuador, the troubles come from Colombia. Patricio Zambrano is a former Minister of Defense for Ecuador.
Cuando ustedes ven los mapas de Ecuador, lo que podemos ver es que en Ecuador existe la presencia del Estado, es decir, el Estado está presente con sus instituciones, con sus fuerzas públicas, y al frente tenemos a una Colombia que lo que vemos son plantaciones de coca, que lo que vemos es que no existe la presencia del Estado. Entonces ese es el problema real que tenemos en este momento y que su conflicto interno, siempre lo hemos dicho, el problema es de Colombia, no es de Ecuador.
Analysts like Oscar Moreno pinpoint the surge in Ecuador's border violence to the recent peace process in Colombia.
Bueno, para Ecuador, ser vecino de Colombia, de un país que ha tenido un problema histórico, fundamentalmente con el tema de las FARC, y con todo lo que engloba esto a nivel de narcotráfico, históricamente ha sido problemático, pero entre comillas, ¿no? Yo creo que no podríamos considerar que ha generado grandes problemas, sobre todo a la sociedad civil, ¿no? Quizá lo más complicado para el Ecuador ha sido el proceso de desmovilización de las FARC, ¿no? Esto sí, efectivamente, ha generado una serie de problemas y está generando en este momento una serie de problemas que están afectando fundamentalmente a la seguridad.
As part of the peace process with the government, thousands of Colombian rebels disarmed. But the Colombian government was too slow in taking over the regions the FARC once controlled, with all the coca crops growing there. Criminal gangs filled the vacuum, and in these lawless zones, like the border with Ecuador, a new generation of warlords was born. And that poses a problem for a country that hasn't had a major conflict or guerrilla group in decades.
En estos últimos 10 años se ha debilitado de forma importante Fuerzas Armadas. A nivel operativo, es decir, no tenemos equipamiento, no hemos tenido equipamiento, recién hemos recibido unos radares para poder controlar el espacio aéreo, hasta hace poco ni siquiera existía esto, y además tuvimos un debilitamiento al interior de las Fuerzas Armadas.
That Ecuador was once unready is a statement the former defense minister can agree with. He says that Ecuador had been too weak on its northern border, but that has now changed.
Lo que se hizo a través de Fuerzas Armadas, lo que se hizo a través de Policía Nacional, de cerrar ese cerco que nosotros nunca debemos permitir que sea abierto, es decir, que de cerrar el cerco en lo que se refiere al tránsito de la droga, al que pase la droga por nuestras fronteras.
To find out what was causing these problems, we traveled to southern Colombia, the source of all the chaos. The province of Nariño and the port city of Tumaco sit at the heart of the new wave of violence. This is the center of Colombia's coca industry. Nariño is responsible for around a third of all of Colombia's coca, the raw material used to make cocaine. According to the US Office of National Drug Control Policy, in 2017, cultivation of coca rose from 188,000 hectares to 209,000, reaching an all-time high, they said. The municipality of Tumaco has the highest number of crops in the country, with 23,000 hectares. That is translating into murder. Tumaco has a homicide rate of around 75 per 100,000. That's 3 times the Colombian average. Tumaco is now a major exit point for cocaine shipments. This video shows the Colombian Navy engaged in a high-speed chase of drug runners on the high seas of the Pacific. Notice how low the specially modified go-fast boat sits in the water, designed to make detection more difficult. Finally, the crew surrender and the boat and the men are detained. The boat was likely heading to Mexico, where it would deliver the cocaine to Mexican cartels, who would then transport it into the United States. The naval cadets struggle with heavy bags stuffed with cocaine. Tons and tons of cocaine were taken off the boat. This is what over $100 million worth of cocaine looks like. Around the naval base is a virtual cemetery of captured narco subs, those vessels designed to travel almost completely under the waves. This one was captured just months ago with 6 tons of cocaine on board. With all of these billions of dollars to be made, new criminal groups swarmed the zone, including the so-called dissidents from the FARC, those who rejected the peace deal. To take on the threat, the Defense Ministry announced a new plan at the beginning of the year, Operation Hercules, that would bring 10,000 new troops to the zone from the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. Much of the work here is done along these waterways. It's the Pacific coastline and the various rivers where the new warlords and the cocaine shipping occurs, says Colonel Wilson Martinez.
Debido a que si controlamos esas arterias fluviales, si controlamos estos ríos, pues evidentemente podríamos nosotros ejercer una presión o un control sobre estas actividades criminales que de una u otra forma giran o su entorno es a través de actividades relacionadas con el narcotráfico.
On missions like this one by the Colombian Navy, their biggest target are the new warlords who they believe are selling drugs directly to Mexican drug cartels. Another sign of the warlords' power is the rampant extortion, a crucial source of money for them. They extort businesses throughout the zone. Now military forces are letting residents know they will be around, and if they report the threats, they will protect them. But how many will report the next threat of extortion remains to be seen. Travel away from the city of Tumaco into the countryside and you can feel the fear. In the town of La Variente, the local small farmers committee meets. They're seeing the results of a failed peace process. Maria Arena is a farmer here.
Me siento con mucho miedo. O sea, aquí nosotros estamos en peligro. Todo mundo estamos en peligro.
For as long as they can remember, this zone has been dangerous. But they hoped that the peace deal would bring a new dawn here. But since its signing, they see the peace deal here slowly crumbling. They blame the government.
Uno siente ese miedo y ese temor a de que la guerra sea peor que la que había. ¿Por qué han regresado? Eso se lo hizo el mismo Estado. Por el incumplimiento, porque yo pienso que si a ellos los sacaron de donde estaban, tenían que haber cumplido con los que le prometieron. Por ejemplo, había mucha gente que dicen que es que allá adentro estaban pasando como hambre, cosas así. Entonces, ¿qué les toca? Volver, sea a trabajar o sea al monte, donde quieran volver, pero regresaron.
The key to the chaos here is the coca crops that fuel the cocaine industry and fund these militias. In the surrounding countryside, we find a coca farmer who wants to give up the crop. She asked we not use her real name. It was a good income, she says, but now it's time to change.
Sí, queremos empezar algo nuevo, tener otras cosas, como para trabajar con otras cosas, bien, no sé, sembrar cacao o tener animales y todo eso, para criar animales, así.
Today, she's starting to rip out her crops. For the past 8 years, she has grown coca on her small patch of land. She's not exactly sure how much coca she has. She thinks in terms of harvests and dollars. Every 3 months, she strips the leaves off the bush and sells the crop for around $500. The leaves were bought by cartel middlemen, who then turned them into cocaine. She's far from alone. The government estimates that of 1.7 million families in the province, 200,000 have some link to the drugs trade. She and other farmers have decided to join a government program to rip out the coca bushes. As part of the program, the government will verify that she has eradicated her coca crops and pay her a stipend. After that, she will receive money and help to get started on a new agricultural project. The idea being to keep her away from coca.
Algo que nosotros no tengamos miedo, como decir, ay, no, es que vamos a ir a la finca y que haya por allá, quién sabe, un bandido y que nos mate por esta bobada. Entonces eso es lo que no queremos y eso a veces eso es lo que me da miedo.
But her future is unclear. She worries that the government may not follow through on its promises of aid.
Me da miedo que el gobierno no nos cumpla con las cosas que que él está prometiendo con los proyectos y todo eso, y después nosotros quedemos como a la deriva y tengamos que volver de nuevo a lo mismo.
Back in Ecuador, before the bodies of their loved ones were discovered, the families used to hold regular vigils demanding both the governments of Colombia and Ecuador help bring their bodies back. It's here where the families can show their anger at those who killed their friends and loved ones, and at their government who was unable to bring them home safely.
En el país nunca antes había pasado ninguno de estos casos. El secuestro y todo lo que conllevó eso nos abrió los ojos a todos. Vivimos en un sueño, no sé cómo llamarlo, que simplemente no abrimos los ojos y no nos damos cuenta hasta que nos vienen y nos sacuden y nos mueven el piso para despertar. El conflicto ya no es solamente colombiano, sino también ecuatoriano, porque ya ha estado establecido en Ecuador y ya hay demasiadas evidencias de todo lo que ha sucedido antes.
In June, the bodies of the three were discovered in Colombia and returned to Ecuador. 3 families can try to make their peace, as Ecuador waits to see what comes next in its new era of terror.